So you're Adam Grenda. You live in Alaska. You have like 37 kids. How many kids do you have?
Currently 6.
Oh, I was close.
Yeah.
And then you have a pilot's license.
Almost.
Almost.
I tell people that. I joke with them.
And you have you don't have a Cub. No, you don't. You have a Cub.
Super Cub.
Super Cub.
Pretty much the smallest airplane there is.
I met you with Ryan Altus on a hunt. I'm not going to say where. I'm not going to say when because I want to do that hunt again.
I do too.
So that was how long ago? 8, 9 years ago?
It was 14, I think.
Okay, and kind of a cool story because Ryan Altus is a pretty amazing hunter.
Big bulls.
Probably the best elk hunter in North Idaho, in my opinion, straight up. And at that point, I'd killed a lot of elk. Him and I both got our teeth kicked in on that hunt. Didn't kill our bulls till the very end. And you had never killed an elk with a bow. Yeah, and you killed one like day 1 or 2.
Yeah, I'm a horrible bow hunter.
Not on that hunt.
No, I shot a...
You shot a nice bull.
It was an older bull. It was 11. So, I mean, definitely, I think elk peaks like 7 to 8.
Yeah.
So, definitely going downhill, and I shot him without any boots on and sneaking through timber between feeding and bedding areas.
And you're a pretty small guy.
Yeah, 6'2", 260 this morning, you know. We kind of learned on that hunt, anytime you hear any little stick snap that sounds like a squirrel, just count it as elk because we got burned so many times. Big bulls can be really quiet down there. And I heard something, and I just kind of got down. I put a reed in my mouth, and a bull came up at 17 yards, and I shot him. And I was like, well, that was easy.
That was easy.
Yeah, and then we hunted for like another 10 days. You grinded it out, and Ryan ended up killing a huge bull at the end. You killed a big bull, and that was the hardest hunt of my life, probably.
Dude, that was incredible. I want more. Maybe. Well, since then, a lot's changed, and a lot hasn't changed. But I would say since then, social media has kind of like really blown up, and influencing or ambassadorship and media. So you've had your hands in a lot of things, and we got to catch up. But It all comes back to me like stuck in the rut. Like that's like you married into that family.
That's what kind of launched me into a platform. Yeah, Stuck in the Rut's just a YouTube channel. I had seen one video, I think, of Tom killing one of the very first wolves in North Idaho, 2011, I think. And my wife was the one who filmed that. And then I met her on this, you probably haven't heard, it's called Tinder. I met her on an app called Tinder. And
are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't need an app to meet chicks, right? But I was going to school at Eastern, ran through all the girls. And I was just like, you're not going to find a good girl at a bar. And so I'm like, maybe I should get on this thing. And I swiped through everyone. There was nothing. And then I finally found this one, and I've just hit my 10-year anniversary. So it's crazy. And a lot's changed since then. But yeah, I married into that Stuck in the Rut family. And it's just a do-it-yourself, pretty rough cut, rough edit, not a whole lot of B-roll. Just, hey, we're going to go elk hunting, walking up at 2 a.m. Here's a bugle. Here's an elk. We're going to shoot it. It's like 10 minutes long. And I started with them and just kind of married into it. I told them, I said, I'm going to buy a Super Cub, move to Alaska. And they said, you can marry our sister right now. Because as you know, to hunt bears, sheep, and goats in Alaska, you need a next to kin relative. So like, if this guy wants to buy a Cub, he's already a pilot. He knows how to fly airplanes, and he wants to do that. Like, this is our in. And they've capitalized on that pretty well. And I like to help, you know?
Yeah, they have capitalized. We'll talk about that family real quick. I want to give shout outs. So I've had, I think both guys two of the brothers I've had on the pod. Mm-hmm. I know Tom the best, and just gets after it, man. Like, I don't care about any of their YouTube channel's huge. How many subs? Hundreds of thousands.
320, 325.
Huge channel. If you're looking for cinematic, that's not them. But if you want to see real raw, especially like for me, I always liked it because it was North Idaho, where I hunted, where I grew up hunting.
Which is hard.
I could just relate to all the just pound and brush. You don't even really need binoculars.
No. Can't shoot a bull at 4 yards because you can't
kind
see
of need
him.
a top pin, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And then when the wolves came in, to this day, my biggest YouTube video was filmed in 2010.
I saw it.
Okay. And it was just the wolves ruining my elk hunt on opening day in Idaho. Actually, real close to Kellogg, which is nowhere really that close in North Idaho terms to where you guys were Stuck in the Rut HQ. That's
Bonners.
Is it Bonners? Moyer or Bonners?
Yeah, Bonners Ferry.
Okay, cool. What's the older brother's name? Travis?
Travis. He started it.
Freaking love Travis. Killer.
He's a machine, dude.
They're all killers.
Yeah.
And they all can shoot long range. They shoot bows. They don't have specialties. Like, their specialty is not specialized, and they're just well-rounded outdoorsmen.
I would say their specialty is just like literally doing whatever it takes. I was just on a bighorn sheep hunt with Travis, and that killed me.
Okay, we're going to get into that. Did you draw it or he did?
He drew it.
Okay,
yeah.
he drew it.
I've drawn my once in a lifetime. I shot a big one.
That was last year?
22. I shot a sheep in Idaho.
Cover of Huntin' Full? That one?
Made me a cover girl, dude.
Dude, that was sweet.
Scraping the bottom of the barrel, but it's a huge sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Monster. Yeah.
Same unit that you were just in?
No, different one.
Okay, so new to both of you?
Mm-hmm.
Dang. How much weight you lose on that one?
I feel I went in pretty good. I didn't train a whole lot for it, but I mean, I probably lost like 10 pounds, but we ate pretty good too. It wasn't like a lot of dehydrated stuff and different things like that, but it was the nastiest country I've ever been in.
All on foot?
I've lived in Alaska for 7-8 years, and that's pretty insane. If like that's the nastiest country I've ever seen, and I've lived in Alaska and hunted sheep and goats and moose and everything up there.
Holy crap.
Central Idaho is like no joke.
Oh, man.
Sketchy. And I'm a pilot, but I'm terrified of heights. So it's like, I told Travis, I found this huge ram and everything, and he's like, you got to go with me. I'm like, I'm probably not going to make it. And he's like, I need you. And he like grabbed me by the shoulders and was like, I need you. And I'm like, fine, I'll go. I'm just going to die. And I made it.
And Trav got one, huh?
Huge one. Yeah. Almost as big as mine.
How picky is he?
I think when it comes to bighorns, you just want like mature representation, but he shot a really big one. It was almost like right at 180, had almost 16 and a quarter bases.
Oh, wow.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Like monster.
Sounds like it's not in the typical sheep areas that you'd find them. Like, I think Idaho's B and C's is all along the Snake.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's, and Oregon too. Like, that's the hub. But then you got guys like my buddy Tyler, who's drawn, somewhere around Salmon, Idaho, I'll say. Like Frank Church's stuff. And that's a really hard hunt. Like, it was just, can you find the sheep? Like, it was needle in the haystack.
That's the hardest part.
Was that tough for you guys?
Super, super low density. Mm-hmm. And the ironic part is, like, when I sheep hunted, we found a band of rams, which is just like a group or a herd. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it can be 2 or it can be 7, 8, 9. But there's very, very low density. And all the rams hang out together. Found a band of rams. I shot the biggest one. And when it came to Trav's hunt, I found a band of rams. Both times I found them by hearing them. They smash horns all year long. And I think it's like strength in their neck, like a bull might rub or kind of spar a little bit prior to the rut before he's really going to go to town. And you can hear that echo throughout a canyon. Pinpointing it, when you only hear it once, it's like an elk bugle. It's like, where did it come from? And then it ricochets off these canyon walls. I stayed in that basin and glass for 3 days because I heard one hit. And I was literally like, this is done. And I was on my tripod with binos and I was just doing a scan, pan over, scan, and like, the last 10 minutes, I'm like, I'm not going back here again because there's nothing here. I saw a ram, and I was like looking at something. I'm like, it kind of looks like a butt of a sheep. And I was counting to 10 like I do. And it's like, is it going to move? And then a sheep walked up into view. And I'm like, that's a ram. And then I pulled out the spotter, and then I found the big one. Next day, went in there and killed him. And then slept on a sheep bed, built a fire in the dark, and walked out the next day with no water.
Oh.
And we were done. Yeah, there's no water.
Where do those sheep get water?
I'd love to know.
Yeah.
There was elk there, and they had to know where the water is, but I was looking for an elk wallow. I'm like, I'll take water out of anything at this point. You know, I couldn't find it.
How long were you out of water?
Just like that half day coming out.
That sucks.
You go really slow.
When you need it the most.
Really slow, you know.
Trav's married. He's a construction guy.
Yeah, general contractor.
GC. And then does Tom have a real job, or is it just stuck in the rut full time?
No, he does all of our editing, and then he does like a lot of forestry management. He'll do some logging, personal jobs, and like a lot of brush grinding, stuff like that. Mostly all forestry stuff.
Are all those guys running traps this year?
Not really. Trapping's hard up down here just because it's so time consuming.
You got to check it every
3 days. I think. Alaska doesn't have any trap check laws, which
Yeah.
is nice because you don't have to like infiltrate your scent into where you're trying to catch wolves and stuff. They've messed around with a little bit. They've caught a few, but Tom mostly predator calls and does better that way.
What a G. You know, Tom was telling me, you know, like up there in Bonners especially, like, because I've hunted up there quite a bit in my early days. And
when there was elk.
There was more elk there. That's why we went there. There was more elk there than where I did elk hunt with, where Ryan does and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me that like they're getting so good at like trapping and stuff that like they can almost wipe out an entire pack against the Washington border up there, but it doesn't matter because this state that we're in right now, which I do not live in now, doesn't have any management in place on wolves whatsoever. And so like it just doesn't matter. It gets backfilled with a new pack the very next year.
Yeah.
That is depressing, man.
Yeah. That's how it is in Alaska. You can kill a whole pack of wolves, and if they're not marking their territory, which is constantly keeping infiltrators out, the new ones just flood right in.
Flood right in.
Yeah, it's how the pack hierarchy works. They just one will leave this pack, pull a female off this pack, make their own pack, and they'll go find new terrain. And if it's not being occupied and the other wolves there aren't going to kill them and push them out, they'll just set up shop.
You're in King Salmon? Okay.
I've been there.
How do you know that?
We did a podcast like 4 years ago maybe.
Okay.
And you told me, and I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday, but I can remember you did a caribou hunt.
Yeah. Nice. There was a pilot there named Mike McCrary or something like that. There's no way he's still alive.
I know Mike, yeah.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, he was doing some stuff up on the Brooks.
Yeah.
I've met him.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he is still alive. That was a long time ago, man. Like over 20 years ago. And he wasn't like a beacon of health when he was flying me. So I didn't know he's still alive.
I'm pretty sure he's still alive. I talked to him a couple years ago.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think when I was there, so if I'm 43, I did that on my 21st birthday. I just said, I'm going solo caribou hunting. Drop me off. And this guy's like, okay, I'll take your money. I think he had, and I probably sound like an idiot, but I'm pretty sure there was like grizzly bears in town and stuff like all the time. Is that still?
Yeah, I've had to shoot 4 in my backyard this
Okay.
year. Yeah.
Wow. Like, and you have 7 kids, you said, or 6?
6. I might have 7 when I get home. We're foster care parents, and all my kids are native Alaskan, and my wife will just pick up 1 or 2.
Heck yeah.
When I'm gone, which is like you all the time out of service. And so I'll get back and like, hey, we got a kid. And I'm like, this isn't a dog. And she's like, I couldn't say no. They showed up. And I'm just,
Yeah.
sure. And so that's how it works. Bless my wife. She's got a huge heart. But yeah, 6 kids. And yeah, there's bears just rolling through town.
No, just any time of day. Or is this at night when they are messing with you?
No,
stuff?
they come around at night a lot. But
Yeah.
then I have chickens, which I did because my kids wanted that. And
Yeah.
we're anti-screen, no video games, get outside. And she wanted chickens. And I said, okay,
Preach.
that's cool. Let's do that. I spent a lot of time and money and built a killer chicken coop, and that's just a full-on bear bait. And so when the salmon are running out kind of mid-August to mid-August, right when I'm leaving to go doll sheep hunting,
Yeah.
the fish are kind of winding down. The bear's like, oh, we need to go look for other food because now we don't have any more fish. They start rolling into town and start killing chickens, and like it's just kind of a pain.
Insane. All right. Well, I guess we should probably dive into all your cool adventures, but I'm still trying to get a grasp on your day to day. Married to Tana, 10 years, stuck in the Rut family. Shout out to the boys. They do a great job. You're part of that. What else are you a part of? You got your hands in a lot of things going on right now.
Yeah, so Alaska, I was working for the feds. Didn't really like the federal government before I went up there, and I worked for them, and I was like,
No
it's
kidding.
really not for me. Just, you would not do very good.
Yeah.
I like to see efficiency, and I like to move. In an airplane, as a professional pilot, I want to move 10,000 pounds of gear and a bunch of people throughout the day in a Beaver. And that was just really like, pull the engines back to idle, let's go really slow. And then COVID hit, so I quit the feds, which is hard because I worked my whole life for that career. And I'm like, this defines me. Still difficult at that point because we lost a foster care baby we had for 2 years. And so I had a baby boy from the time he was 1 to when he's 3. You get 3 days notice and you tell this kid like, hey, good luck, but never going to see you again. So,
Are you serious?
be tough. Yeah, it wrecks you, And so that's been a really hard mental struggle for 2 years. And then I quit my career. And so then I'm like, okay, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Take a bunch of different things and hope it works out. That's what Cody Rich told me. And I'm like, okay, I'll try it. And so
That's a good guy to take advice from. He's pretty
really,
smart.
really smart when it comes to business. Yeah.
Yep.
And got a killer stash. And so I did that. We have some Airbnbs. We have some rental cars through Turo, which is like an app that we use up there. And kind of general contracted our hangar house, which we're going to finish this summer. And then a lot of just like social media, like marketing, different things like that. But that took me into like kind of my main career. It's a business I own part of 3 other guys, and it's called Elite Hunt Club. and I started marketing for them. I liked it. They offered me a position to come into the job. I liked where the job was because there's a lot of different raffle companies out there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name any, but there's a lot that'll buy a really nice hunt. They'll sell raffle tickets, but you have no idea what your odds are. So it's like putting in for Henry Mountain's mule deer or putting in for the Gila for an elk tag.
Donating some money.
Yeah, and it's just a contribution. Elite hunt clubs, they always have a cap on the tickets. Usually it's like 1,500 to 2,500, somewhere in there. And so you kind of know your odds going into it. And I like that. And the thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to help people because I hear all the time, I'm sure you get it too, man, you're just living my dream. And it just kills me when guys say that because I'm like, you could go do this. Young guys too. I'm like, you could go do what I'm doing. You can move to Alaska. You could learn how to fly an airplane. It's not hard. It just takes time. And so that ability is cool because we sell tickets. And like the last one, we just did a brown bear hunt. It's a $45,000 valued hunt. One kid, he's 25. He spent $40. And I got to call him up and he's like, yeah, I'm just getting done with the deer hunt. And I said, oh, how's that bow? And he's like, it's good. And I said, you think it's going to work for a brown bear on the peninsula? He's like, what do you mean? And I said, yeah, we drew your name. And he just like totally forgot. And I said, dude, you're going brown bear hunting on the Alaska Peninsula with your bow. And he's like, you shitting me? I said, no.
Dude, that kid's living my dream. Dang, that's awesome. I know.
And so it's really cool intrinsically to give back. And I don't want to sell to a rich guy. I want to sell to guys that work at the landfill, guys that work at a gas station, guys like, hey, I'll skip the case of beer and I'll pay $30-$40 for a raffle ticket for this once in a lifetime shot because this is all I'm going to get. I can't afford a $40,000 bear hunt. I can do it because I'm a resident and it's free and I have my own transportation, but that's a really cool part of the job. So that's taken up a lot, and then 6 kids kind of take up the rest.
I'm going to have to learn more about this because someone like me, I'm weird in that I'll probably spend a reasonable amount of money on elk tags because that's what I'm wired for. But I do have a few bucket list hunts. And surprisingly, Alaska moose is not way up there because of the damn dates. It's September.
It's hard.
Ain't going to do it. I'd love to shoot a 67-inch moose like you probably have multiple times over, but I'm not going to sacrifice. I'm addicted to elk bugles. However, I love bear hunting maybe almost as much as elk hunting or pretty close.
I know.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And the idea of hunting, I don't want to do interior grizz. I want to go hunt a brown bear, poop my pants a little, and try to shoot with a bow. So like a hunt like that, I'm probably not going to be able to convince my wife that I need to spend $45,000 on that hunt, quite honestly. I got bills. I got kids. That's just too selfish. If I'm being honest, that's just too selfish. I can't justify it even through it's a business. No, it's not.
It's a lot of money.
That could be an opportunity where, I wish I would have known about that. I might have bought 100 raffle tickets, put $400 in or, $1,000 in. And so how does it work, man? How many hunts do you guys do? Your Elite Hunt Club.
Yeah, so it's elitehuntclub.com. So I do all the marketing.
You have to be a member? Is there a membership?
No.
You just jump in on any raffle?
Yeah, I'll get into the membership thing later, but it's not like a paid membership.
Okay.
We kind of have 2 parts. So I go out, I'm going to go to the expo. I'm going to go meet a bunch of outfitters. I go with people that I've vetted, that I know people have hunted with, so it's legit. These guys are 100%. They have great success rates. They're not selling you a canned hunt. We're just going to go for a Super Cub ride and sit there and maybe see one sow. These are big bear killers, moose, sheep. Sheep are hard to come by. There's not a lot of sheep left in Alaska. And that's pretty much it. Bears, moose. I sold a brown bear moose combo a couple months ago. That sold in a day. I mean, that was that fast. I have a brown bear hunt going right now. We have 1,000 tickets left.
When did it end?
As soon as it sells out.
Okay.
And so
I'll be getting one.
We can chat with that at the end of the show. And it's a lot of guys, they want to stack the odds, and I'm a numbers guy. And so I'm like, hey, I'll spend $400 to get a 1% chance.
Yeah.
That's better than a lot of elk tags I put in for.
It is.
And sometimes that works out, but a lot of times we pull guys that just take one ticket, and it's just it takes one to win, but you got to pay to play. And so that's the cool part about it. But I do all the marketing, advertisement. I'll go and find an outfitter, find a hunt. We try and plan at least a year out.
Yeah.
Because people need to plan for work and time off and gear and get all this stuff lined out. And we'll launch the hunt and we'll sell raffle tickets. I've sold hunts in 12 hours. I've sold hunts that take almost 20, 30 days. And so it just kind of depends. Bears are hot. Everyone wants to shoot a coastal brown bear with a bow. And like you said,
Dang it.
like a grizzly bear, like a big grizzly bear would be an 8-footer. You know, like in the Brooks, if you saw an 8-foot grizz, that would be huge. And they're really pretty hides. They're great. When you see a coastal brown bear that's 9+ feet, they're just a different beast. Like the forearms to the wrist, to the head, to the neck. I mean, they want to cause damage when you're close and they get mean. And that's my bucket list. And the peninsula is hard because the trophy bear area, you can kill one bear every 4 years. The last bear I shot was 21.
Okay.
The next bear season for the fall is 25, and it's bow or bust. And so I'm going with my buddy. He won't shoot the world record moose with a rifle if it's 200 yards away. He would rather pass.
Who's this dude?
One of my best friends.
Well, he's cool.
He will not pick up a gun. I've asked him. And it's cool because we jive that way. I'm a horrible bow hunter because I'll throw the bow down and pick up the gun. We're not bringing a gun. He'll have a 458 as like backup, but it's bows or nothing.
That's
so you're
cool.
hunting bears over fish, and you sit there and you glass and you pattern these bears. They come out right at dark.
Yeah.
They don't waste a lot of energy. They sit in one spot. They eat as much salmon as they can. And when the wind's right, you go in there and you shoot them across the creek at like 12 yards. And it's just like...
I just got goosebumps, dude.
That's my dream.
I got it.
You know?
Man, life is so short. I got to do this, man. You're firing me up. Okay. I have a lot of questions about being an influencer and working with brands because I've seen you... I follow you on Instagram. You're a great follow, by the way. My wife said, "Who are you podcast with today?" I'm like, "Grenda, man. I've known him forever." She's like, "Okay." I'm like, "It's gonna be exciting," because he says what he thinks and he holds no, like, he's unfiltered, which I really, really like, man. I'm like, I don't know why, but I just kind of think there's a lot of filtered stuff out there. Fluff.
Yeah.
I'm kind of allergic to fluff. And no BS. I
just want to be the same guy here.
Yeah.
Is on Instagram, as the expo, is just no bullshit. Call it like
you
I
are.
see it. You know?
So what do you think? Like you've gone on some tirades on Instagram before and stirred up some controversy. What do you think's the most controversial thing that you've ever like kicked up some dust? And probably not intentionally, just being honest.
Oh, like I'll make fun of Sitka and Vortex all the time. People like that. I'm just
Allwine likes to make fun of Vortex. Allwine.
Oh. Yeah, me and Matt go.
Oh,
you get me and Matt together, it's bad.
Shout out to Vortex. I work with him.
Yeah,
but you guys are brutal.
I just heard they're the #1 optic company as far as sales, like 500 million or something. Like,
oh,
that's impressive.
Wow, that's legit.
Yeah,
maybe I should renegotiate my contract.
Yeah, literally, jack that marketing budget up.
No, they're good people, but like you like making fun of Sitka and the guys get butthurt about it, right?
Oh yeah, I've had people unfollow me. I've seen some people at different events and stuff. They say that's really immature or whatever, and I'm just like, well, I mean, for Sitka, I have like they didn't support like drilling in Anwar up in the Brooks and stuff like that, which a lot of their stuff's petroleum based and it really affects Alaska. Alaska runs on oil and commercial fishing money, and so I just think that's kind of ridiculous. But then like you see all the the girls with the OnlyFans like sitting at a tree stand doing the duck lips, and they're always wearing Sitka, trying to get like the old Kentucky simp guys to go to their page. And so I just like, it's a joke. You know, don't take it so hard.
Yeah.
People get all wound up, and I think hunting should be fun and you can joke about it, but like in the hunt, I want to have a hunt be almost downright miserable for it to be successful for me. Like it's got to be a grind, and those are the ones you remember,
No,
the ones that hurt.
Speaking of ones that hurt, there was, man, it couldn't have been that long ago, Adam, but like you were in eastern Montana and you archery stroked a freaking stud bull. And here's why I know about this. You were in Billings and you were just having a good time, and I think you went to bed at a hotel motel or something, and you come back to your truck in the next morning and your rack is gone, and you put it out on social. And I had a friend in Billings who was a cop. And so like I like immediately forwarded that to him and he was on it. But like whatever happened with that?
Crazy story. Most of your facts are dead on, but I was still hunting. Travis still had a tag.
Okay.
Tom went home, and I said, okay, well, you just take my bowl and take the meat from the meat locker and stuff and go home. He said, yeah. I thought he was going to drive straight through. He got tired, did the right thing, pulled over. Billings, come on in. I didn't know Billings was full of tweakers. I thought it was like cowboys smoking Marbreds and kids at rodeo.
Yeah.
It's not that way in Montana anymore, I guess. And he woke up with this gut-wrenching feeling like his bow was gone. I had a 9,000 cubic inch Kuyu dry bag that had all my gear was gone. And then the elk rack. You can replace all the other stuff. And elk head was stolen.
It was a damn nice bull, too.
I Adam Grenda shot an elk with a bow. It
Yeah.
was 340 on video, self-filmed.
Oh my
And I didn't
gosh.
even call him in. I ambushed him. Like when you look at how elk die,
Yeah.
ambush is probably the lowest. I mean, I just sat there like an Indian behind a bush, and I had blown so many stalks, and I'm like, don't screw this up. I let all the cows go by. I let him go by, and he was finally behind the tree, and I'm like, it's time. And I pulled back, closed my eyes, and just slapped it, dude. And smoked him, right? I don't even think I aimed, right? I'm about 10% as good of a shot as you, probably. That's why I didn't bring my bow today.
Smart.
And yes, very smart. And that got stolen, went viral. You shared it. Cam Haynes shared it. It was really cool. It went on the news, and everyone's like, oh, you're just pumping this for publicity. I'm like, actually, I'd like the biggest.
What?
Yeah, there was a lot of hate from it, too, and everything. And I'm just like, actually, I really wish the biggest elk of my life didn't get stolen, but it did. And you called Tyler. I'm meeting him this afternoon.
Yep.
He's actually a really good friend of mine. It's my personal trainer. We became really close through all that. He's got a podcast, and he is actually the one that was really instrumental in helping me find that.
He's a good dude. I don't doubt this.
And it went viral. Some guy found it on Facebook, and the tweakers brought the head in there with the cape still frozen, and they cut it off, but they cut it below the burr, so I still have like sheds from it. So now
Good.
I can make it a 350 bull and like really lay them out wide.
But they did do some hacking.
They cut it off, and then he's like, this is weird. Why would you have a frozen cape of the bull and then cut the horns off? It didn't make sense. And he's like looking through his Facebook, and he remembered seeing something about it, pulled it up, called the sheriff. They got a hold of Tyler, who was working on the case, and he helped me find it. And like the odds of ever seeing that elk again, because Snyder lost a bull right around the same time.
He lost such a cool bull too, like a heavy bull for that
Out of
Colorado
his
unit.
yard. Yeah, I talked to Aaron about it.
Oh.
And so the fact that I got that elk back was literally a miracle.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
That's
me too.
cool. That's when social media is cool.
Yeah.
But to your point, there's always these like dirt bags are like, oh, you're doing this for publicity. Like case in point, yesterday, Joel and Bodie Turner, good friends of mine, they came over to do a podcast, and it's New Year's Eve, and we're out there filming a little segment on going over, because it's almost indoor archery season, which you probably don't follow, but like that's when Bodie Turner like competes for the world championship in Vegas and Lancaster, PA, and all these.
I followed a little bit.
The kid won it when he was 16. So he won like a $50,000 check at age 16.
So he's
shooting a
kinda
bow.
good.
He's pretty good. And so his mom's taking a couple photos, and I'm holding Bodie's Hoyt bow, that his bow hunting bow, and Bodie's holding his target bow, and he's talking on camera. And I posted that with a series of photos, and everyone's like, oh, you're shooting a Hoyt now. I know I work with Matthews, but I can hold my friend's Hoyt bow. Like,
Matthews don't care.
no. And the people that care, it's just like, that's the stuff about social media where like, if I could just get rich, I'd probably delete everything and you never see me again. I'm not kidding. Like that stuff just drives me nuts. Yeah. But there is instances where it's like that, where like there's like positivity, and you couldn't have probably done that without social media. Find your goal.
Absolutely not.
You know.
Guaranteed. No way.
So there's things like that are cool. So do you work with any brands on as far as like I love that word, influencer. I love that word. But whatever you want to call it, I know. Whatever. Do you work with any specific brands besides Kuiu?
Yeah, so I worked with Kuiu for a long time. Shoot Gunworks guns.
Oh dang.
And even that got like a lot of like pushback, like, oh, you're shooting Gunworks now, and obviously the rifles are really expensive and stuff like that. And I just told people, like, if Gunworks approached you and said, hey, we want to build some guns for you, we want you to rep our stuff, we want to supply ammo, and we want to have a relationship like we used to, like back in 2011, would you say no, Gunworks? I don't want your guns.
You would say yes.
Yeah, and so I did, and I said that's a really good move for me. Like, why would you do that? And people kind of shut up at that point. And then over the last year, things have really just kind of taken off. But it takes a while to build a relationship with a brand, as you know. So I've worked with Wilderness Athlete.
Good
like
people.
their stuff a lot. Solid people. They're tied in with Outdoorsmans and Western Hunters, so I get some products from them and do a little marketing for them. Silencer Central is a big one I just got on with.
That's out of Utah?
South Dakota.
Oh.
I just went and saw their facility. And
how many cans you got?
2 or 3 from them. I probably got like 10 cans total.
I have 0 cans. I need to change that in 2025. Just advertising my resolutions.
I got the guy you need to talk to. Once you shoot with a suppressor,
Yeah.
especially with your kids, you'll never shoot a gun that's non-suppressed.
Let's talk about backcountry recharging battery banks. I use Dark Energy Poseidon. I can get quite a few charges on my cell phone. That's also what we use to recharge action cameras and DSLR cameras. We also use their solar to recharge our banks. I usually have 2 battery banks with me at all times in the backcountry. I never want to run out of juice, and I use my phone quite a bit, not for taking pictures or looking at Instagram. I use my mobile phone a ton when hunting elk, obviously looking at onX, running tracking, things of that nature. So can't have a dead battery in the backcountry. So Dark Energy, we have a discount code. It is ELKSHAPE. It'll take 10% off. They have solar options as well so that you can recharge your battery bank in the backcountry. I run 2 battery banks almost at all times, and I can get through several days hunting in the backcountry with those, and they're bulletproof, man. Like the way that they're built, you can keep water out of them, you can drop them, they'll still work. They can take a beating. Dark Energy, discount code ELKSHAPE, save you 10%. Interrupt this pod, tell you about one of our awesome partners, Easton Archery out of Salt Lake City. That's right, everything is made in the US of A. I've toured their factory in person. It's pretty awesome. We're going to do another factory tour soon on YouTube. But right now, I want to tell you about the Easton 5.0. I use this in Montana. This is a great 5mm arrow, if not one of the best on the market now. This one comes in at 8.4 grains per inch. And if you order the match, you will get the hit insert plus the collar, which is a perfect marriage for durability. Now, there are other brands out there in the 5mm category with similar spines, but for those, you will have to do spine alignment with Easton, and the spine around shaft you will not. Their process is seamless, and so you're going to get the best arrow on the market made with American resources, American labor. This is a great all-around arrow for Total Archery Challenge, for anything out west, and your whitetails. Also, check out the new FMJ Max, which is a great lighter option than the traditional FMJ. And then you can check out the tried and true Parallel Pro 4mm. These are my favorite. Easton Archery. Easton is a proud partner of ours, making great products that you can be confident with. Back to the pod. Hey guys, Dan here. We're going to interrupt the pod, tell you about ELKSHAPE training. This is a workout program dedicated to hunters, built by strength and conditioning elk hunters. That's right, I write all the programming. There's 2 tracks, the Hustle track and the Limitless. Hustle track is for those that have minimal equipment, and then the Limitless track is for those that have full-on access to a gym. Both paths lead to the same goal: you more fit, more successful, and a better trajectory for more elk hunting years to come. Separation is definitely in the preparation when it comes to fitness, and it's a huge advantage to be fit, and it's easier to stay fit year round. Our program is periodized so that you are peaking right before September gets here, and we have a complete off-season and preseason program. Head over to elkshape.com, check out ELKSHAPE training. It is month to month, pay as you go, stop when you want. Back to the pod. I have shot with suppress, and I just ordered a 22 long range for my boy to just get. He's not into bows, and I don't, whatever he's into, I'm going to be into. Good. He's into guns, man. And so I ordered him a long range 22 and got a can coming for it. And I think what you just said about the kid thing, even adults, like, I think it's just more fun to shoot something suppressed, right?
Yeah, but there's also not this giant explosion at the end of the rifle barrel. I have a 13-year-old daughter shot a brown bear with a .338 round with a suppressor.
That was this year, right?
2023.
That was 23. That's like the best photo you've ever posted.
It's pretty cool.
I mean, seriously.
Talk about a proud daddy.
Man, that's
it's cool.
I mean, you have so many stories. I feel like I could just trap you in this chair and make you share them. You've been in Alaska now for 7-8 years?
Yeah, I moved up there in 17.
Okay. What is your, like, when it comes to the vibe of living in Alaska? I mean, there's a lot of sexy, but let's talk about the unsexy for a second. Like, winter sucks here, Adam. Like, it sucks here, but I guess in comparison, how shitty is your winter? Like, how many hours of daylight do you have a day?
Right now it's about 5.5 or 6. So you go to the gym at least once a day. Usually binge watch some new shows. I don't drink. Been off the sauce for like 10 years, so you have to keep yourself busy otherwise. I trap a lot, and trapping is pretty stupid to do with a super cub. You lose a lot of money, but at least I catch fur, and so that's cool. But then going through skinning and preparing everything for taxidermy and stuff like a wolf takes me 5-6 hours all the way through, and so that's a lot when you start stacking up numbers, and it kind of becomes a full-time job. So that keeps me pretty busy, but there's a lot of unsexy stuff. It's really expensive. Avgas is $11 a gallon.
Oh my God, how many gallons does your super cub hold?
18 aside, so 36 total. But I mean, last year I haven't flown a bunch this year, only a couple hundred hours. Usually I do 350 to 400, and My wife is like big into spreadsheets and numbers, and I don't really like to keep track, but I spent 43,000 on avgas in 23.
Think about that, y'all.
That's a lot of fuel.
That's a pretty healthy budget.
Yeah, you can buy an airplane for 40,000. I
Yeah.
spent just that in fuel. You got to pay to play. And that's what I try and tell people, like on the flying thing, like, I want to do this. I want to buy all these mods. I'm like, the way you get good is just put gas in the airplane and go do reps. You know, you say that a lot on your podcast, and I'm a listener. You just have to get your reps in and do it till it's like super easy. You can almost do it with your eyes closed. It's like driving a truck for me.
Yeah.
So,
How big's your trap line this year?
we have 0 snow.
What?
That's weird. Yeah, I live in coastal part. You know, King Salmon's on
Yeah.
the coast. It's 38 degrees right now. It's like exactly the same temperatures down here.
Huh.
So it's pretty perplexing. I try not to panic because I'll still alter. I'll keep my cub on wheels and I'll go snare wolves different places, like with a baited wolf set. Snow allows you to access so much more country. Everything gets frozen. These muskegs, these swamps, these ponds, and I'll trap 2,000 square miles. And so I'll do a lot.
Good God.
Yeah, I have kind of this bad thing. I have what's called an addictive personality. So
Yeah.
it can be really bad for some things or substances or different things like that. But I'm pretty straight as I've gotten older. But when it comes to like flying airplanes, trapping, or moose hunting, I sink my teeth in. I kind of go all in.
Yeah.
And so like most trap lines, guys will do like 10, 12 sets. I'll do 30, you know, and I'll hammer for 2 days and get everything spread. And then you're trapping 24/7. It's like everything's working. It's all hunting. And then you just fly a Super Cub around like, oh, there's a Wolverine over there. Land and pick it up. There's one over there. Land and pick it up. And if there's nothing in the trap, you can see it from the airplane. You just keep going.
That's sick.
So it's all about efficiency for me. I try and be really fast.
Do you have to like say you're doing a baited set for wolves or wolverines? Is this stuff that you like road kill? Like you find a kill from the sky and then set up snares around it?
No, I got to kill a caribou first.
Okay.
I'll kill a caribou. You know, Alaska's like meat salvage rules are really, really stringent. So you take all the meat off the ribs.
Yeah, they are
everything.
very stringent. You should probably explain that. In fact, for those that go to Alaska, I have literally had a cop in the sky land north of the Brooks, wherever I can't remember, and inspect my carcass to make sure I took every edible portion.
Yeah, they'll pull out a tarp and have you set every piece of meat on a tarp to count it. It's the biggest violation that's the most common for people. You get a lot of people that go up there and they're in over their heads and they
Yep.
shoot a caribou way off the haul road and you got to hike it back through the muskeg, or they shoot a moose and they walk up onto it and like, there's no way we can get this back.
Yep.
And so they start leaving stuff or not trimming accordingly. There's a lot of states you can't debone animals. It has to stay on the bone, and that's difficult, and people will do that. So take everything. I mean,
Neck, rib.
it's
all of
weird
it.
when I come here, you don't have to take the neck or the ribs. We still do.
Yeah.
But it's like everything from the skull down to the knee. I take both sets of back straps off animals just because. I mean, the loins, the upper loins, and then the main tenderloin.
Yeah.
All the back strap and everything. And then I usually just leave everything on the bone because it's easier for me that
For
way.
sure.
Unless it's a sheep. I'll bone out a sheep because they're coming out a long ways. But that's, yeah, if you're hunting Alaska, that's probably one of the most common violations is meat salvage.
I'm glad you went over that. So you stroke a caribou, and then you set up snares off that?
Yeah, so I'll take everything out, and then I'll try and I do all the gutless method. I'll leave the guts in there, but all the meat's off the ribs. But then I'll kind of wrap it up into a ball. I'll bring a tarp and I'll wrap a tarp over it. And it's heavy. It's like 150 pounds, but I'll pick it up and I'll put it on the wing strut like where I would for a moose. And then I'll fly that into somewhere, drop it off into the thickest brush I can.
You got to have thick brush for snares to work, right?
The thickest.
And then you've got to also, okay, I took a wolf trapping class in 2011. So
Yep.
this is all classroom. But they were saying, correct me where I'm wrong, like you can't put snares too close because like the alpha gets to eat first. And if they know that he gets snared, everybody will leave. Like there's surgical things going on there. What do you do, man?
You got to have like a main entrance and an exit. So sometimes you go in there, and if you have snow, you can kind of see where the bunny trails and stuff is. It's harder without snow, so this year could be a real challenge. But you want to leave like a main trail coming in and a main trail coming out. That you're not going to put a snare, you're not going to infiltrate, you're not going to break a stick, and that's their feeding highway they go in.
Okay.
But then once they go in and the alpha's feeding, the other ones are in there kind of circling. And so if the wolf sets here in your bait, a lot of people like have these spokes of a wagon wheel. I don't really like that. I like where they're almost in different areas and you're getting all these different angles, because then the other 4, 5, 6 wolves, they'll kind of mill around or they'll go pull a piece off and they'll run away and then they'll get hooked up, you know. And I don't want to catch one. I want to catch all of them.
Amen.
Because I just love wolves so much. I don't want to leave them out there, homesick
I
with their buddies
appreciate
gone.
that.
And if you leave them out there, then they're smart, and that's going to be a very hard animal to ever catch. If you're trapping wolves that have never been trapped, Tanit's first experience, we went in, I've got my ass kicked for years in Idaho over and over, and Alaska, and like stick the head through the snare, and like they pull out, they piss on it, and they walk around, and they knock this one down. First time she ever goes with me, a set of caribou carcass, and I think within 2-3 weeks, we trapped all 7. And she's like, this is easy. And I'm like, this is not how this works.
So do you do footholds at all?
Not with an airplane, because where we live in King Salmon, there's no roads.
Yeah.
And so I can't say when I'm going to be out there, and I don't want a wolf to suffer
No
in a
doubt.
foothold, and I don't think it would hold. Like a wolf can eventually bite their foot off or pull out of any trap. They're so strong that I don't think it's ethically right to do, and I don't think it would hold a wolf. A snare will kill them.
Yeah.
And they'll freeze, and they'll be fine.
That makes
and you
sense
go
to
pick
me.
them up. So
Okay.
I want something that's going to kill.
What about smaller trap fur bearing, like are fishers up there or?
Have a few marten. That's what I
Marten?
tell people. Like, I only trap what we have. We have wolves and wolverine. So that's all I go for. We have a couple lynx. I've only caught a few. Have some fox, a couple coyotes, but it's mostly a lot of wolves and a lot of wolverine. So I catch a lot of wolverine. On a normal year, I'll catch 12 to 15.
There's that many?
Most guys will probably catch on an average trap line like 2 to 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm also trapping 2,000 square miles.
That's a pretty big area.
Most guys will take a snow machine and they'll trap 40, 50 miles of river, and that's it. And they'll get some, but I'm trapping 13 different drainages, 14 different drainages, and I'm always looking and moving sets because I don't want to over harvest something, but I want to pull 2 out of here and 2 out of there and just kind of move things around.
Yeah, that's. Do you think like Alaska's I think the state that's like has the most generous and has had the longest management system in place for wolves, and pretty sure we've never gotten rid of wolves in Alaska, or they've never been like, we're worried about running out of wolves. Then you come down states like Washington, which we want more wolves. We want as many wolves as possible. We're not allowed to manage them. And then you got states like Idaho, where the topography is, I just don't think you're ever going to like really be able to manage them that well. There's just too steep.
Trapping manages them pretty well. Like up in Bonners, they've got some trappers that have kind of got some moose coming back in different regions and stuff.
That's exciting.
But it's never, ever going to be what it was even close to 20, 30 years ago.
No.
Alaska, you can shoot 10 wolves a day per person, mostly the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
And they're never going to run out just because the hierarchy and the way they reproduce and breed, they can almost 4 times themselves in a couple years. I mean, they're the ultimate predator. They are the smartest animal out there. I've seen 2 wolves. I've tracked them in the winter on a super cub. I'll see a pack of 2 wolves, and they'll kill any moose. They'll kill a 70-inch moose to a calf. Like, it doesn't matter. The bigger ones are hard, but they put one on the nose and one on the hamstrings. You will wear a moose down when you have 120 pounds swinging off your hamstring. Eventually, you can't take that, and they will pull you down, and then they'll kill you.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6. Like, it's just easier and easier the time they go. And it's unlike here. I've seen them eat, and they'll leave half of it, and they'll come back. They make loops. Even the next year, they know where all their kills are. They'll visit the bone piles the next year. I'm sure you've seen wolves kill up here, and they just kill for fun. Like the wolves up there are
1,000%.
The wolves up in Alaska, they want to eat it. They need it. It's
They
cold.
need it. Yeah.
It's cold, hard winter.
So are your moose numbers okay? You said your sheep numbers are down. Are your moose numbers okay?
Sheep are pretty bad. The wolves actually hammer the sheep too, but that's a lot of influence with weather as well. Just late spring and freezing conditions they can't dig through for feed. But they'll also kind of pull down on some ridges, and the wolves can capitalize. They'll kill sheep. Moose are doing pretty good throughout the state. Wolves can be bad in the wintertime. Big boars are really hard in the spring when moose calve. Those big boars, especially on the peninsula, they'll go they get out. I've seen them first thing they'll do is they go to beaver dam. They'll start digging up beaver dams to eat a beaver, and then they'll go from just cruising, putting on the miles, and they'll get downwind of a cow that's had a calf, and you know how good a bear's nose is. They'll walk right in there. Any size bear, even a 6-foot bear, is going to push a moose away, and she'll leave the calf to try and save it. He'll eat that thing like a snack, kill it, and he'll go on to the next one. He might do 10, 15, 20 a day, biologists say.
Yeah.
So that is a potential world record moose, or a potential 65, 70-inch moose that's gone.
Yep.
Kind of like black bears killing elk calves. That could be a 350 bull in North Idaho, but you're never going to know its potential.
No doubt.
Same thing.
Yeah, I remember the very first time I came across a very fresh calf that had been chewed up by a black bear. And it was, I dropped a buddy off at a bear bait and turned around and came back, and the carcass was in the road. It was like, I just dropped him off 5 minutes ago. And so a bear can eat it, who knows, 1 minute. It took him to just peel that tender meat off. It was just hide and bones. And then I've now found multiple calves. That's why I said this on the podcast recently. I'm still angry at bears. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I haven't killed a black bear in 2 years. I've been kind of trying to find a better bear. I haven't been, but I'm still mad at them. You know what I mean? And I still believe like we got to manage them. So I like that you guys are out there trapping. I think when I retire, I want to just be a trapper. You know what I mean?
It makes you a lot better hunter because, especially in the winter, I probably like winter almost as much or better than the fall in Alaska.
Yeah.
Fall is cool, but the winter, the snow is just so crazy. You fly around on an airplane, you need good sunlight, but everything tells a story. So you know where the moose were, where a herd of caribou passed, what the wolverines are doing, where this wolf pack moved. Everything tells a story, and it's so cool to track animals and see their behavior. And then when you're trapping, you have to be such a steward of the land and read the sign, almost like a Bible of like what is happening here and where's their next move. And if you're a wolf trapper, you have to get a wolf to step on a piece this big.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Legit.
When you're thinking how many hundreds of square miles the wolves roam, that's hard to get.
So you guys built this hangar not too long ago. What year did you decide to build this hangar?
I think I lost a lot of hair on that year. It was 2022. I was living in some government housing, so I moved out of my house, bought a house, built a hangar house, lost that kid, all within like a month. Happened really fast. And we didn't finish the hangar house because I couldn't get a loan because it's in rural Alaska.
Yep.
And you can't have inspections and banks don't find that secure. So I built everything out of pocket, got a private investor, and now I've had everything paid off, which is great. And it's just basically dried in. So it's studs, stick framed on the inside. Outside looks completely finished.
Yeah.
So I have a hangar, which is awesome in the winter.
Yep.
It's not heated. I have a little power, like running off a buddy's breaker, like a couple hundred feet away. Totally a ghetto setup. And this summer we're going to finish it. And that's going to be awesome. Because a hangar house basically is like a barn door or a shop house.
Yeah.
3,000 square foot house. On the other side of the shop wall is a hangar. It's 50 by 50. I have a garage door opener. I fly over the hangar. I hit the button and the door opens and I land and I just taxi right into my house.
Sick.
It's going to be fun.
Dude, that's pro. That also sounds really expensive. Let's talk about airplane maintenance for a second. Like,
Yeah, that's
I have
important.
seen your videos, you wrenching, and I'm like, okay, Adam, who taught you to be a grease monkey and wrench and know everything about your airplane? Is that just something that you have to learn? You have to evolve?
I mean, think
Is
about
it
you with a bow, right? You got to
YouTube?
figure it out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, who's going to do it for you when you're on elk hunting on the tailgate of the truck? Like, if you don't know how to fix it,
Yeah.
what are you going to do? If I have something break out there, I've had some things break. You have to be able to fix it. And then ours, like, mine's experimental, so I can work on a little bit more than, say, like a certified airplane. On the major stuff, I'll have people oversee it, annual inspections and all that. But, like, a lot of the day-to-day stuff, I have to do it because there's not people there that will. And if they will, it's super expensive, $150 an hour, and they're booked out, like a long ways out. So I just have to figure it out.
Huh.
So I don't seem like I'm super mechanical, but I've had to become super mechanical because you have to be able to fix stuff. You have to be able to weld a little bit. You have to be able to fabricate a little bit and do all this stuff to keep things working.
Yeah. Your wife's quite the entrepreneur as well. She's got this thing that she does. It's women's retreat type vibe. That's all I know is that your wife is friends with one of my friends, Alicia Zimlicka. Zimlicka, is that how you say it?
Zemlica.
I love saying that name. She's
a badass.
Dude, she's a badass chick, and her husband is too. Like, he's a badass dude. And we've got to work out with him over there in Montana. And I've had her on the pod many, many years ago. And I was so excited to see that her and Tana are pretty good buds.
They are.
And they hunt together. But
They moose hunted together.
yeah. And they did it pretty well. What is your wife doing with this women's retreat thing?
So she does a lot, but her bread and butter is personal training online, Bristol Bay Fitness.
Yep.
But from there, you probably saw the video where she almost got her face eaten off by a 10-foot brown bear with her and Trevor. So that was kind of like a step back for her. And she said, hey, I want I want to do something more. I want to bring women to Alaska to experience all these things. And so she started these women's retreats, and it's turned into kind of a lot of stuff. I have one next month. I'm doing a marlin fishing retreat in Cabo. I'm planning one in Costa Rica for next year. And it's turned into like, we have this whole company called Grenda's Getaways now, where we do all these different retreats, kind of a worldwide thing. But
it ain't just Alaska no more, huh?
No, she started that, and then it just kind of, things just kind of blow up and take off, kind of like your camps, right? It just happens,
right?
And that thing of like not going 50%, you're just all in, balls to the wall,
right?
She started that, and she still does the Alaska retreat, but it's expensive because you have airplanes and different things and logistics to get out in the bush. But she brings people up, teaches them archery, long range shooting, handguns, foraging, wilderness survival, has a lot of awesome experts come and help. And then you go out and you live in the middle of nowhere for like 3 days, and you live like a homeless person. And it's pretty much everything you would do on a hunt or a hiking trip or anything without actually killing something.
Yeah. And you probably make some pretty cool lifelong friends out of it, some like-minded people.
It's cool for her because there's a lot of chicks like her that don't think they're normal, and they don't have any friends that are girls.
Yep.
And you bring all these weirdos up, and they're like,
You're weird. I'm weird.
There's people like me.
Yep.
That don't like girls, that don't want to go to the mall.
Yep.
That don't wear makeup, and they just want to do cool stuff like this, but they don't know who to hang out with. And so it brings a lot of cool things. So intrinsically, it's really rewarding for her. She likes it. There's not a whole lot of money in the retreats. The margins are very small.
Sounds like a lot of overhead to me, quite honestly.
It's a lot. Yeah. Like when you're planning Cabo and marlin fishing and boats and food and catering and villas that are really, really expensive with granite all over, there's not a big margin, but it's really cool to do these kind of trips and stuff like that.
I love it. Yeah, So for my camp, camp was part of my business model from the word go. And it came to be accidentally, kind of like what yours guys is where like I did one. I was like, oh my gosh, this is impactful. I should probably do more of these. And then at one point I did up to 7 in a year. And now my kids are at that age where I'm like, I don't want to go anywhere. And so I've consolidated down to 1 a year. And it's not even an ELKSHAPE camp anymore. I've teamed up with some other guys. We call it something different. And it's 1 5-day camp here in town, so I don't have to leave. They got to come here. It's still the most impactful thing we do, and I do love in-person stuff. That's for cool. Sure. Like, that's great. But there's a line there, Adam, where like our addictive all or none personalities got to like be careful. We can do too much. And so I think the sweet spot for me is still 1, maybe 2 a year. What do you guys think your sweet spot is for those getaways?
I don't know. She's kind of vamping up. She's trying to plan a gator hunt right now with a bunch of women and stuff and do different things, but get more into the hunting space. I think she's to the point where she's done camping. She wants to hunt. And so she's planning maybe a gator hunt, maybe an antelope hunt, stuff like that. That's feasible where you can get tags and you can do stuff, some thermal hunting at night for like pigs or predators and stuff.
Have you done that before?
I did a little bit in South Dakota, and I'm like, man, they were like, we didn't get a whole lot of coyotes. I shot 1 coyote, but we had raccoons coming in left and right. I thought that was a blast. They're like, oh, sorry, this sucks. And I'm like, I just shot like 7 raccoons.
And there's about 1 million more to go. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, they were like infiltrating. It was like a game full of zombies, and I just went, just keep shooting. I'm like, can I just give me another mag? And they said, go to town. So she's getting more in the hunting space. But it's a balance. And you probably deal with this with your wife, I've never met her. She's totally ripped.
She's jacked.
Shredded.
Yep.
Got to be a total badass because I follow along with the house and the remodel and stuff. But like for you to be gone as much as you're gone, and for me to be gone as much as I'm gone, it's a floating balance. Like I'm already planning next year, and I'm like, man, I have every week already lined out.
Yeah.
My wife loves to hunt. Like I got to pull some stuff off there and throw her some stuff. Like when's her moose hunt?
Yeah.
She wants to go elk hunting in Montana. When's that going to happen? When's she going to draw tags? And so it's a fine mix. You can't just be like, I'm taking these 4 months and you're going to take care of everything. See you when I see you. Like,
see you later. You're not going to be married.
That does not work. Yeah, I've tried it. Trust me.
Let's do unsolicited marital advice right now. It's a good time. You're on year 10.
Oh, man.
And, you and your wife have had a pretty crazy life. Like, you guys both just went to Alaska and are pioneers and leading an expedition up there in King Salmon. It can't be easy bringing in 6 foster. It certainly can't be easy losing one that you raised in those pivotal years. Ups and downs. I mean, how's it going? What do you got advice-wise for just those that want to lean in on some marital advice?
Oh, maybe I'm not the best one to ask. I would say probably for us, this last year has been the shittiest year.
Let's talk
And
about it.
you look at every year and you're like, God gives us trials to make us stronger and doesn't throw anything that we can't handle. But you look and one thing after another and one kick in the balls over and over again. It's like, can it get any more difficult? So we're asking for a break this year. Prayed a lot, but I don't know if I'm going to get it.
Sure.
And I'm ready to take what he throws at me. But we were not on the same page probably for about the last 2 years after we lost that little boy. It takes a part of your soul and it wrecks you. And it wrecks your wife to a spot you can't even imagine. And it's hard for me. The hardest thing I ever had to do is I drove that kid to the airport and he was just about able to talk. And I said, look, buddy, daddy's not going to be there. He's like, yeah, I know. And I said, no, but like there's might be some bad people and I need you to fight. And I need you to fight so freaking hard because I will not be there to protect you. And I said, if it ever gets bad, just keep being a fighter. And it was just, yeah, just horrible. And so when that happens, we're kind of just past the 2-year point. And he got taken right after we finished the hangar house, so I couldn't really relish in this amazing accomplishment that I had general contracted. We built it in like a month. Everything went phenomenal. And I was just like, I hate it. I don't even want to be in it. I don't even want to have an airplane because it's like I wish I would have taken all that time and invested into the kid that I didn't know was leaving. So last year was hard. And what I found in marriage is just being fully transparent. I have some friends and I know a lot of guys that they keep certain secrets from their wife. Like, hey, I'm drinking coffee over here. Or, hey, I'm dipping Copenhagen in the shop. I can't do that shit because that was taking me down a really bad road. You know, I've been porn free for like 5 months, but I think porn's probably one of the worst things in the world.
Yeah.
And it lets the devil in and it wrecks your marriage. It makes you a shitty husband, a horrible dad, and all that stuff. And so battling demons with that back and forth and some childhood trauma and stuff. Now it's just out there on the table.
Love it.
My wife doesn't love it sometimes. And I said, look, you get 2 versions. You get me that's going to hide 50% of the shit or you get everything. And so if you're going to be fat in a dress and you ask me, I'm going to tell you look fat in a dress. My wife's amazing, super smoke show, but I'm going to tell her everything.
Yeah.
And so that transparency, along with the 3 C's she told me, which is communication, compassion, huge one for guys.
Yep.
We fought a lot about that.
I suck at that, but yeah.
And compromise. And we are both super, super stubborn people. She's extremely smart. And so when you have 2 type A alpha stubborn people, probably similar to your dynamic, and there's sex and there's money and there's kids and there's business and hunts, communication is key. And so it doesn't turn into a huge resentment. Everything's just kind of out there. We have disagreements. We say, hey, I feel like this. I feel this way. And things have been going really good, like the last few weeks looking in the new year. So,
well, you knocked it out of the park because you dropped the pure transparency, the vulnerability. I love that. Like that's how your stock can climb with me, is if you just are transparent and show your cards and you're not ashamed. I love that. I think a lot of men, I know a lot of men struggle with things that probably on the outside look shiny, i.e., some sort of naked chick on your computer screen that's not real and is not the way God intended you to be with a woman. Like being with one woman, like, you know, there's a vibe out there, and in this day and age, I'm gonna sound old, but like of like how many girls can you get? You know, how many notches in your bedpost? And I'm here to tell you, I heard this one guy preaching one time, and he was like, he just straight up said, like, I can go out tonight to any bar in town. I don't know if this is true, but he said this, and I bought what he was saying. And I can get a girl to go home with me. He didn't say any girl, but he said I can get a girl to go home with me through alcohol or whatever. And any guy can really do that. But it's going to take a real man to come home to the same woman every night and be loyal to that vow and marriage. And so I thought that was really cool. And I like the idea of like, what you see, your eyes are the lamp to your soul. And so if you allow yourself to see something that's maybe not real life, but on a screen, you might as well just be going out to the bar and trying to pick up a chick as well. Like you owe it to, you know, tell your wife, hey, this is kind of part of being a man, is like, there's a certain amount of like love language, physical, that a guy needs. And you got to help a brother out, you know? Yeah. And then on the flip side, like you gotta like for me, my wife is constantly lecturing me like, well, maybe I would be down for that more often if you do a little better job of dating me.
Fill
You
my
know-
cup, Dan.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not just here to do your laundry, take care of your kids, and cook you dinner, you know,
Yeah.
because you're the man of the house providing for us. And so, like, seriously, that's real talk, you know?
Yeah, and I hate the fact of like feeling like roommates and all. You got to talk about the hard shit.
Yeah.
And that's like the porn, or hey, these girls keep coming up on my Instagram and I clicked on one or whatever. Like that's a whole nother rabbit hole guys go down. You might not be a porn consumer, but you look at all these girls that have OnlyFans links through Instagram when you're sitting on the crapper. That's just as bad, you know, because the ill intent of your heart and stuff like that. But you have to date your spouse. I mean, I tried to take Tana on an airplane ride yesterday just because she likes adventure. That's hers, is quality time. You take her on an airplane ride, show her some animals, just show her some snow, and she might see a wolf track or a moose track like that.
Her cup's full.
Her cup's full. And like guys are physical, but like mine's like words of affirmation. If you tell me like, wow, that was one of the best landings you had in a long time, like you're getting an hour-long foot rub. Like it's not a hard secret, you know?
My wife's words of affirmation as well,
Yeah.
you know? And 15 years later, I still have to like almost put a reminder on my phone to, hey, please don't take your wife for granted today, and let her know how you feel about her. Because if I do that, I'll check those boxes, because I think she is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I think she cooks the best dinners. I think she's the most ripped, jack, coolest mom.
She's shredded.
She's just, and then the nicest person and just loving. You got to tell her that. So love languages. Did you ever read that book, or you just kind of got the
Oh, I've
Cliff
read a
Notes?
lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's hard because I have friends that have gone through divorces, are currently, or trying to not get divorced. And I tell them like, well, what have you done? You know, because like they'd tell me all about the wife, or even chicks will tell me about their husband. Like, okay, well, let's talk about you, because you can't work on anyone else.
Yeah, true.
Let's talk about you. I've done a lot of therapy, and the therapist will say, we don't care about Tana. We care about you because you're here and we're working on you.
That's cool.
We can't change Tana at all. And they'll say, well, I woke up and I made the kids breakfast. I'm like, well, that's great. That's a super nice act of service. What's your love language? It's acts of service. And I said, is that hers? If you do that, your wife's cup's not going to be filled.
True.
I love making my kids breakfast, and I think you do the same thing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love cooking, set them up for the day. Dad, that was great food. And maybe I'm doing that intrinsically to like help myself. Dad, that was great. Thanks for biscuits and gravy. Kind of pump me up a little bit. But doing that, serving her, taking that workload off her, that's nice, but that's not what they need.
She needs that quality time. She needs an adventure.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. Well, that's a cool love language. It's a tall order.
Usually you get two.
Yeah.
But
What's
yeah.
her other one then?
Mine?
No, your wife's other love language.
Acts of service.
Yeah.
Yeah, do something for her, like
And your words of affirmation and
physical touch. Probably words of affirmation first, physical touch. I think most guys are probably physical.
I think most guys have physical touch as one of them for sure.
Yeah, and I think a lot of guys try and lean on that as the top one, but I think mine's more of words of affirmation and different things. But yeah, marriage is freaking hard, dude. And
Yeah, it
I
is.
tell my kids that. I'm like, someday you're going to have to pick some person, and you're going to have to live the rest of your life with them as roommates. And they're going to know your deepest, darkest secrets, the best things about you, the worst things about you, and you're going to hate each other sometimes. But I feel like Tana and I, we kind of had this like starting over in August, and one of the brown bears like just turned into a fiasco and different things because she has brown bear trauma, and I was leaving for a sheep hunt, and I may have said something really stupid like, I'm going sheep hunting whether those bears are dead or freaking alive. Not smart. That turned into World War VI. And then a whole lot of stuff came out like porn and different things. And hey, I've been hiding this from you for a while and all that. No infidelity.
Yeah.
But the porn's kind of, they see it as infidelity pretty much. Even though it's so streamlined and different things. And so we kind of had like a starting over. You're on your second marriage, the same person. That's kind of how Tana put it.
I like that.
And that's really been good. And it hasn't been perfect or easy, but through communication, love language, stuff like that, and going on dates and stuff, which is hard because we're down here living with our in-laws. It's been going better, and just realizing like, see the good in people, don't see what you're not getting out of marriage, and being pessimistic, like wake up and say, what am I not getting today? Wake up and maybe say a prayer of gratitude of like, hey, I'm grateful for her because of this, not because she didn't do these 3 things yesterday.
Right.
No one wants that.
I knew you wouldn't disappoint. I knew we'd cover some cool stuff. Marriage, it's not an institution. It's definitely, it's something that should, I think the way it was created to make you better. not make you happier, possibly, but could potentially make you more whole, because you're going to have to work on yourself if you want this to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was laughing when you said a couple things. I was like, I love my wife to death, but she knows the best and the worst of me. And there's probably way more worse, but like she has the power to like ruin my day if she wanted to. You know what I mean? She knows exactly what to say, how to say it.
Oh yeah.
And just, I'm thankful that she doesn't do that often, but there have been days where she's like basically trying to pick a fight, and like she's doing a really good job of picking that fight.
And I can do the same.
Yeah.
I know the buttons.
You know the buttons?
Yeah, my wife will be like, oh, you having some daddy issues today over there? You know? And I'm like, I'm not a stripper named Chastity, right? And so that cuts deep because I have some childhood trauma. I've been to therapy for it and
that's funny.
all that stuff. But yeah, at the end of the day, like, you know, everyone yesterday is sharing all these, and I've done it too, these highlight reels of all the hunts and how many elk and how many sheep and how many moose. And a lot of people think I have like the coolest life, killing us big stuff. And I don't know if you know Adam Grenda, but he's a buddy of mine.
Yeah.
And he shared, he's like, I have all these highlight reels. I hunt and do stuff all over the world. But he posts a picture of his family. I'm like, at the end of the day, that's the only stuff that really matters. Like the stack elk horns over there.
Whatever.
Piece of bone.
Yeah.
You know, you get some cool pictures, cool memories.
Yeah.
Elk meat's gone. Like family is really what you're taking with you when it's all said and done. And that's what that is kind of your legacy. So that's kind of my goals for next year. Not new year, new me. I'm still a piece of shit trying to be better. Right? That's it. I just want to be a better dad. I want to be a much better companion to my spouse and hear her and see her and not try and fix every problem. Sometimes I just want you to listen, and I'm a fixer. You probably are too.
That's guilty. Like,
and
because it's so simple. Like you're hearing them out, and then you're like, oh, I just want to fix this. And it's taken a long time for me to just shut the F up. Don't offer solutions. Just listen.
Intently though, not on your phone or not yep, you have to be engaged. And I'll even ask sometimes, do you want me to fix it or do you want me to listen? And sometimes she'll say, I want you to fix it. And I said, okay, then we need this. I'm going to call this person. They're going to put me in collab with this person. I'm going to handle it. If she said, I just need you to listen, I said, okay, tell me more.
That's cool.
A lot of times you're
Wise
just listening.
man.
Yeah,
You're getting wiser.
I'm trying not to be stupid, but it's hard.
Dude, thanks for driving down here and doing the pod. You guys, obviously Adam is a good dude and hell of a hunter, but he's real. That's what I like about you. You're really real. On Instagram, what is your handle?
Grenda89.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Stuck with me. I'm never going to like rebrand it. It's just stuck with me for the whole time. And Stuck in the Rut's just stuck, letter N, the Rut on YouTube. And Elite Hunt Club's just elitehuntclub.com.
You were going to talk about a membership angle on that because I was like, do I need to become a member to get put in for this brown bear hunt that I need to go put in after we're done?
No. So you just go to Elite Hunt Club. Like when we're done, buy a ticket. It's $40. I think 6 for 200. So you bundle tickets like most raffles.
6, and then
it tells your odds, which is cool.
Oh, cool. That's because what's the cap on that one?
2,000 on that one.
Oh, that's it?
That's it. Yeah. Some of these are selling. I mean, a Gila elk tag. I don't know, 10,000, 20,000. How many they put in, I don't know, but those tags are expensive.
You're doing elk tags?
No.
Oh.
Not yet.
I got excited.
I will.
If you do, you'll suck me in because I need every opportunity to, New Mexico's hard to hunt. Like, have you ever drawn New Mexico elk tag?
What do you think, Dan?
Probably not. I've drawn it twice in a long, big span. Like,
I swing for the fences.
Yeah.
Because I'm the opposite. If I'm going to kill an elk, I've shot a 340. I want a good chance at a 350 bull.
Yeah.
So guys, you want to come down North Idaho late A tag? I'm like, hell no.
No.
Why would I want to chase rag bulls late A tag or late muzzleloader or anything? Like I want Arizona.
Yeah.
I want New Mexico.
Yeah.
I want Montana. Maybe if I can get a trespass access, and I got 10 in Wyoming. I'm about to maybe dump, but I got to find the right place.
Good.
So
10?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Might need to talk if you got some.
I don't know. I mean, what I do know is that you're capable of picking up a rifle, obviously, or a bow.
I want to shoot at the bow.
So it's like, man, that really opens up the door. And they have all those Type 9 tags in Wyoming where you could like go all in. But you should talk to your boy, Ryan.
About Wyoming?
Yeah.
I know some units
he's killed.
hunted.
He's killed a 360 and a 350 in the same unit.
I think those took more points than I had.
Yeah, they do. Maybe you could find somebody who's got a little bit more than you.
Maybe.
And put in with you.
But I'm on the flip side. I don't want to leave killing huge moose in Alaska, unless it's a really good opportunity for an elk, or maybe later.
What's the biggest moose you've killed spread-wise?
74.
Oh my God. I did not think you were going to say that.
That's
Really?
big, yeah.
How much does that weigh with the head and everything?
Just like a Euro skull is like 103 pounds, 104 pounds.
Yeah, that would take 7 trips per person to get that to the plane.
Well, you're not splitting the skull. You take it out.
Yeah.
One trip. Yeah. Anyways, back to Elite Hunt Club. We have a newsletter I want people to sign up for. And my biggest thing is like every morning I have so many promotional emails to delete. And I don't want to add people just to another email list. We give away stuff. And most people give away like, hey, you spend so much on this. We get so many entries per dollar.
Yeah.
You don't spend anything for my giveaways. I do them in between all the hunts. They're kind of my ideas. The first one we did, I said, I want to give away a full Outdoorsman's tripod package, which you know how much those are.
They're
Very expensive.
Yep.
Best tripods I've ever used, but you got to pay to play on that one. And I gave away a Swaro ATX 65 spotter. Like, in my opinion, the best spotter on the market. $5,000 package for free. I said, just give me an email list. The only time you'll see an email from Elite Hunt Club is when we're going to tell you you're going to enter another raffle for a giveaway. Or sorry, you're going to be entered for another giveaway. And you're automatically entered being on this email list. And the only other email you get is like, hey, we just launched this brown bear hunt. If you'd like a ticket, here's your chance. That's it. There's never promotional. I'm not going to sell your email to a different company, different things like that. And then the last one we did, I did a KUIU gift card for $2,500 right before Christmas. And I think these are pretty big things. You don't have to spend any money. So I'm trying to lean on my next one. I might do like a camping package or some kind of tent, or a lot of times I'll just go on Instagram, do a poll, like, what do you guys want? Mm-hmm. And they'll tell me, and I'll come up with a $3,000 to $5,000 setup somewhere in there and go from there.
Adam Grenda, give him a follow. Check out his stuff. Don't put in for the brown bear hunt because you're going to lower. Well, I guess it's capped. It's capped. You can put in with me. Maybe I'm going brown bear hunting, and that's about the only damn way I'm going to be able to go. So, guys, this is my homeboy, Separations in the Preparation. We'll catch you on the next one.